So, ladies and gents, welcome to our first Down the Lane podcast of 2025. And we have a new man in that seat there. Or should I say new? He's an old man coming back. I don't think he'll like me calling him old, but I'm sure he can have a go at me when he sees me. I'll buy him a pint. So Tommy Widdrington back at the lane. Tonight I'm joined by Bobby Randall and Dave Blackmore. Dave's obviously been a supporter for years and then moved on to doing a bit at the club as well and was, involved in the running of the club for a long time. So Dave, I'm going to hand over to you. Obviously, you're still a little bit involved now. And probably knew of this well before we did today. But
I'm not so sure it was too far in advance, Barry. Alan and Simon have done some incredible work behind the scenes to get this across the line, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think for someone who's been around the club for years, I mean, I have sent messages to Simon and Alan. I spoke to Alan yesterday, and I said that very passionate about him coming back. It's excited me, and I think there's a lot in saying this. I think I've been excited more in the last week, just at the thought of him coming back, or since Monday at least. More excited than I think I was for the Maidstone playoff game, because I honestly believe that this man loves our club. And we know the passion that Alan and Simon have got to increase us and to make us an EFL club. And I honestly believe now we've got a manager that will share that passion. He loves our club. I just think we've got a manager that will share that passion. And
I think, Barry, it's been quite interesting to see the excitement growing amongst a lot of the fan base since the announcement that Tommy had left Aldershot. I think a lot of people were hoping and praying this would be what happened. I think you're absolutely right. I think, Tommy's first words on the video that they just put out is he didn't hesitate when the chance arose to come back to Eastbourne Borough. He loves the club. I think, to put into context, Tommy's connection with the club, he was at Len Smith's funeral. He spent the afternoon there with everybody, spent the whole day there because he's got a genuine, heartfelt connection with Eastbourne Borough Football Club. And I think you're absolutely right that what Simon and Alan have managed to pull off here is getting a very experienced manager who is very highly sought after in football circles, who absolutely adores Eastbourne Borough and will do everything in his power to make Simon's dream come alive and push us up through there. Tommy was really successful when he was here last time. And I think if you remember when he first came in last time, we were just around the relegation places. And Tommy managed to stabilise the club, bring it up, and give us great stability in kind of the top 10, top 12 of the division for an awful long time on a very limited budget at that moment in time. So quite what he's going to be able to do now with the full-time setup and what's going on at the club and the backing of Simon and Alan, I'm incredibly excited. I think it's a fantastic appointment. I think it cements that bridge from the old to the new. It'll excite new fans. It'll excite old fans. It'll excite everybody to do with the club that wants the club to succeed and push forward. So hats off to them for pulling this one off. I've got to be honest.
Massive respect. And I've sent them messages and I sent one in particular to Simon saying about how excited I was and the fact that his coaching staff second to none. And I think that the thing that's excited me even more is obviously today Hugo has stepped down at Aldershot as well, which to me would mean you know,
I haven't seen that. I've been travelling all day, so
yeah, I made 2 and 2 4 the other day, so hopefully this time I'm going to make 4 and 4 8 and realise that that second seat there is going to be taken by Hugo. Bobby, I'm going to bring you in because obviously you started watching Borough at the end of Tommy's era, just when Tommy was going and Danny was coming in. So a lot of what you would have seen, a lot of the setup at the time, you'd have been very young, obviously, but a lot of the setup at the time was work that Tommy had done. And then obviously Danny took over, and there was a lot of players. I mean, Dave will appreciate we had a bit of a revolving door policy at the time. There was players coming and going, because Tommy was always striving for the best. He always wanted the best, and I think when he handed over, when he went and obviously went up to, I think it was Coventry he went to first, wasn't it? Before he went down to Bristol Rovers. A lot of what Danny took over was the work that Tommy had done over the years. So you've been excited this week, but only excited because you've seen how excited I've been getting and others have been getting, at just even the opportunity. So your thoughts on you've obviously done a bit of research on it.
It's a very exciting time for the club. For fans and players and anyone connected with the club, this season's going to get turned around on its head. Tommy's a special man. He can change things. He's a national level manager, and the things done at Aldershot. He took him to Wembley for the first time in 99 years, and then won the FA Trophy. So why not with us? We can push this table, and you never know where it can come in the season. But I just think this season is back on track, and everybody should be excited.
And I was told by David on Saturday when I was talking to him about a possible new manager, I said there's 108 points to play for this season. I was told to bottle that positivity because I could sell it for a lot of money. I don't think I could now because I think there's a lot more positivity coming from people like you, David, that might actually be worth more. So, I just think for the club itself, what a fantastic day. What a fantastic day.
I think it's a great day. And I think, listen, let's put a little bit of realism into the world. Okay. I think this is a long-term appointment. This is not something where fans should be going, right, we're going up this season now. Let's be honest, we've had a horrific start to the season on the pitch with results-wise. An awful lot of great work going on. And, I have to say, I think we've got a talented group of players. But I wouldn't want to put that pressure on to Tommy's first season. I think if Tommy can get us stable, mid-table, top end of the table, not looking over our shoulders by the end of the season, and I think that would be an incredibly good job this season, with a view to them pushing on and going on in the future. And I think that I would temper it with a bit of patience. Let's give this manager the patience he deserves to be a long-term manager of the club and bring us long-term success.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, obviously, we're jesting when we say we're 250 to 1 at the minute with Bet Victor each way. Which, yeah.
Listen, if I was allowed, I might back you on your bet a little bit more now.
But no, I mean, I totally agree. Look, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. I just think that for me, and I've said this again to people at the club. The thing I see about Tommy, I don't think that any of the three managers we've had, the last three managers in the last couple of seasons, 3 seasons, I don't think that any of them have not wanted success. Obviously, every manager wants success, but I honestly see in Tommy, I think Adam had a 50% win rate. That is unheard of, really, as a manager. But I think there was a part of Adam that wanted the success for him as well as the club. Whereas I think when I look at Tommy will take the success for himself. But I honestly believe he'll want it for the club as much, if not more, than he wants it for himself.
Listen, I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever Tommy's love for Eastbourne Borough Football Club. You know, that's just, it's a given almost. I think every manager wants success for themselves as much as they do for the club. You know, at the end of the day, it's a ruthless game, football, and
Yeah.
you know, managers come and go, players come and go. You know, football clubs and the support and everything else stay around, and we're only ever caretakers of the club for the next generation. That's you know, we've always said that. Simon will say that. You know, but you're absolutely right. We've got a manager who loves Eastbourne Borough Football Club, and that's got to be a bonus. That has got to be a bonus. And he also plays some really attractive football, by the way.
Oh
Yeah,
no, I've heard.
Go on, Bob.
I've heard from Aldershot fans that you're looking at a team that's going to score goals. From this season, and what we've seen so far, we need goals. So that's all I've got to say.
I think you've only got to look at as well the way that the Aldershot fans have been on all the social sites, you know, about Tommy going and you know, offering him their best and saying, you know, we've lost the best manager we've had in their, you know, in a lot of people in their lifetimes. And you know, yeah, these people might not be that old. They might, you know, might be in their 30s or 40s, whatever. But with the club with the history that Aldershot have got, you know, that's a big statement. And I think he's given he gave the Aldershot fans some good days. You know, obviously they're going to have had the bad days, but overall, I don't see I didn't see one fan saying good riddance. You know, and you always get the one or the, you know, or the two that don't like, but I didn't see one fan, and I just think that. Yeah, like I say, I think the work that obviously has been done to get this over the line, um, you know, Alan and Simon deserve a lot of credit, as you've already said. And as soon as we finish doing this, I will be on the phone to both of them to say thank you. Yeah, I just think I'm very excited now. Very excited.
I think, do you know what? Listen, there's been a lot of undue criticism at the beginning of this season, a lot of unfair criticism at the beginning of this season, and it comes with the territory. You know, I had my fair share when I was at the top. Every person will do when they're running a football club, but the work that those guys put in behind the scenes, you know, when we handed the club over to them, we done so because we knew the passion and the drive that they had to drive this club forward. And that doesn't mean that they're always going to get everything right. It doesn't mean that as football fans, we're not always going to sit there with our head in our hands. You know, I'm a football fan first and foremost. You know me, Barry, I was supporting them back in the Park days.
Yeah.
So I, along with everybody else, have been sat there this season with my head in my hands going, oh, you know, what's going on? I hate seeing my team lose. It ruins my Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
But some of the personal criticism that's gone on has been very unfair. And if this doesn't put those people in their places, and I will say it quite bluntly, and I don't care if I get abuse for it, if it doesn't make a few people shut up and stop wasting time with untruths, half truths, and personal attacks on some people that genuinely love this football club. They might not be around as long as we have, but they do love this football club, and they're backing up every single thing that they said they would do when they came in. There is no cutting of the budget. It just so happens there's an awful lot of other teams out there that have got just as big, if not bigger, budgets than us now. And that's just life in football, right? What they've done with this is make a real clear statement. They've gone out and got the best manager possible for Eastbourne Borough Football Club to take us forward, drive us forward. I can't believe it's come cheaply. So anybody wanting to talk about investment, please shut up. They're backing it with their money. They're backing it with their actions. And actually, they've not been scared either to go back to the future and go back and say, actually, somebody that was here historically in the past who had very good success and will be loved by a lot of the old guard that are the ones moaning about us will be the person to take us forward. And I think they should be applauded for that because
100%.
it's a really, really positive move. And I just hope every single fan of Eastbourne Borough Football Club understands what they've put into making this happen and gets behind not just Tommy, but also applauds them and thanks them for doing this.
100%, and that's why I said but I'll be on the phone to them both tonight and saying thank you. Like you, David, I've been watching this football club for a long, long time now, and when we were county league days, I mean, I was flittering about then and watching wherever. But something that excited me at the time was when Gary Wilson came in and said, "I'm going to take this club to the top of non-league football in 10 years." And I thought there's going to be a bit of a ride down there. And that was probably this time when I really started coming to watching Borough a lot. He did it in 9. Now, granted, we know we was lucky with a bit of league reorganisation and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we won't forget some of them trips we had in the Conference National, as it was then.
Absolutely.
We'll never forget that playoff day at Stevenage, where we beat Hampton 2-0. And they were days that I remember fondly. And I just think that in time, and like you say, it might not happen this season. It might be 2-3 seasons in the making, but in time, we've got, I think, an ownership that are prepared to take us to that level. I now believe we've got a manager that's prepared to take us to that level. And a lot of people think about when Tommy was here before. He was here 4.5 years, 4.5 years. He was a long-term manager then. And for me personally, he hasn't given up the job that he had to come here for a short period of time. He's come here, he's signed a long-term deal. Just it's exciting, and it's exciting where we could be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. And if this not only should it stop the people moaning, the certain people that we know are there whinging, this should also bring a lot of the supporters that turn up every now and again. This should bring a lot of them back, because this is going to be a good time for Eastbourne Borough.
Listen, this could actually take Gary Wilson off his throne of the longest serving manager of Eastbourne Borough if it goes right, couldn't it? and I think, wouldn't that be great? This isn't somebody coming just to come in for short term. I think this is a long-term appointment. I think you're absolutely right, Barry. I don't think he'd have walked away from Aldershot to come here just to sit and put his feet up. He's come here to help Alan and Simon complete the project, right? And that's getting us into the Football League. So I think there's some really exciting times ahead, maybe even more exciting than we've had historically.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, we had that period where we had the big expanse, and then for probably, for whatever it is now, 20 odd years, we've stayed. We haven't got promoted, we haven't got relegated. But I honestly believe that, like I say, with the ownership we've got, with the management that we've got, and the types of players that we know Tommy can attract, it's a very positive looking future. And again, I'm going to say it on here. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, John Bonner. Anyone that's done any work at the club to get this over the line. Honestly, I owe you a pint. And I'll owe Tommy a pint, but only one, Tommy, because I know you like a few. And you were saying about Len's funeral. I understand the hardest job on the day was to get Tommy in a cab at midnight, wasn't it?
I couldn't say a word.
But no. So yeah, welcome back, Tommy, from me. Bobby, do you want to say anything before we sign off?
Let's be very excited. I've just been researching just some stats and the current league table. There's only 11 points between where we are and 8th place. So that's all I'm going to say. And
there's 108 to play for, and we're 250 to 1 at Bet Victor.
So put your £5 bets on, and we'll see you in April.
Hey, listen, do you know what? Nothing's off the cards, is it? Stranger things have happened. And I think, we just, it's just lovely to feel a bit of positivity around the club. It's lovely to feel that surge of energy around the club. And as you say, Barry, I think everybody involved in making this happen should be rightly applauded. And, let's see what happens, eh?
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys, for coming on tonight. Thanks, David. I'm sure we're going to have you back on a little bit more.
Yeah, no
obviously,
worries.
you've been on before. But thanks, Bobby. And, guys, like I say, for any of you that are new, you are in for a bit of a roller coaster because this is going to be exciting times for the club. But thanks, guys, for coming on, and welcome home, Tommy.
Thanks, both.
Thanks, Brad.
Cheers. Thank you.